Hi, everybody. I want to start by thanking Columbia Journalism School for organizing this event, and I want to give a special shout out to your dean, Jelani Cobb, without whom we wouldn't be here today. Dean Cobb has never been afraid to tackle tough issues. So last summer, I reached out to him to talk about the role of the press in strengthening our democracy. What I didn't expect was that less than a year later, he would organize a series of events to explore the issues and debate solutions. That's exactly what he did.
Well, I don't think we can watch this entire thing because I will vomit in my mouth and then have to ingest the vomit that has come from my own body. I've already had lunch and I don't want to have it a second time. I haven't had lunch.
And I'm grateful to everyone who's participating,
Okay, just get
including some of the brightest
hypocrisy.
minds in media and academia who are actively working through these challenges every single day.
Okay, he's such a good speaker.
I talk a lot about how democracy is neither inevitable nor self-executing.
He talks about how democracy is neither inevitable nor self-executing. The executing there might have a little asterisk next to it, considering the type of executing that Obama did as president. Talking about democracy, we'll let it go for a few more seconds, and then I'm going to unleash the fury, Mitch.
Citizens like us have to nurture it. We have to tend to it and fight for it. And as our circumstances change...
What, fight for it? Did he just say fight for democracy? I think impeach him. That's how this works, right? Fight for the democracy? Isn't that what Trump said? You got to fight for your freedom? No. When Trump says it, insurrection. When Obama says it, it's upholding democracy.
We have to be willing to look at ourselves critically and make reforms that can allow democracy not just to survive, but to thrive. That's especially important right now. Our democracy has always faced its share of challenges, but increasingly it feels like we're at an inflection point with rising inequality, deepening polarization, and widespread disinformation.
You don't want to throw in a little MAGA Republican, extreme MAGA Republican in there, Joe Biden? What's his name? Obama? I'm sorry. You don't want to throw in a little ultra super duper mega domestic terrorist Republican? This is the man lecturing on the value of preserving democracy, who spied on the incoming president. Democracy, preserving democracy, launched extrajudicial executions of American citizens via drone strikes. Lectures on democracy. It's pathological. It's pathological. And he said, but he's so eloquent when he speaks. He's got the good inflection, the dramatic pauses. He's not, some manic, frantic, flailing his hands all over the place, Viva type. This is a man who sits there and calmly explains to you, you've been experimented on. He sits there and talks about how you have been experimented on by Big Pharma in real time, and then goes ahead and lectures on democracy and preserving it. It's amazing. All right, well, there's not much more to go on to that, but I listened to that, and it's like they lecture you on the evils that they commit, and I cannot but hear Joseph Goebbels in my head, although I don't know what his voice sounds like, saying, accuse your enemies of doing what you are doing so as to create confusion. Confession through projection. They accuse you of undermining democracy while they literally undermine democracy. We've got to preserve free speech. And in order to preserve free speech, we've got to censor free speech. It's wonderful. There was a great meme of all of, Klaus Schwab and all of his ilk and the other politicians laughing hysterically. It's like a montage of their heads. And the meme says, and then I told them we must censor free speech in order to preserve free speech. Classic. Yeah. Preserve democracy. Let's go censor the internet. Let's go spy on the incoming president so we can set up 3 years of dogged Russiagate hoaxes. It's amazing. It's amazing. Good morning, afternoon, evening, everybody. I put out a poll on locals in our vivabarneslaw.locals.com community this morning. And I said, what should I do today? Bike, jog, kayak, fish, go to the beach, do the dishes, There are 8 options, all of the above. Oh, or do a live stream, or all of the above. Knowing full well, I haven't gone to see the results of that poll. I suspect all of the above has won. I predicted in advance all of the above would win. So I'm going to make a vlog today because I did all of the above today. Now, not for long periods of time. In fact, it might have been something of a manic, frantic, ridiculous day. Now I've got to rehydrate with some bubbly. But I did all of them. So stay tuned for that fun vlog, which is going to come later today. But my goodness. All right. Hey, Keith, you're lacking the attention today. Avoid the. Did anyone think that they weren't going to get convicted? Let's go with subject number 1 of the day. As if there was any doubt that they were going to get convicted of seditious conspiracy, because it's not the first time there had already been a seditious conspiracy conviction. Here, you got the attention, Keith, as though I would avoid talking about what was a foregone conclusion. Imagine a jury. I don't know if these, let me pull up the article and make sure that these were done by jury and not judge. Seditious. It wasn't, it's not an outrage. It's not a shock. It was a foregone conclusion. Seditious conspiracy convictions today. That was January. The 4 Oath Keepers found guilty of seditious conspiracy. Where's the news from today? 5 hours ago. Here we go. There were already members found guilty of seditious conspiracy in January. This is not news. This is not revelatory. This is now just illustrating how preposterous it is to have jury members convict people of seditious conspiracy when half of them probably don't even understand what the crime is or why it should be, as we've said from the beginning, void for vagueness, because it's preposterous. It doesn't just regulate speech, it regulates thought. Jury convicts Enrique Tarrio of the Proud Boys on seditious conspiracy charge. That's amazing. We're going to read what seditious conspiracy is. Former Proud Boys chairman Enrique Tarrio and 3 other members of the far-right Proud Boys have been found guilty of seditious conspiracy. We're going to pull up the charge. We pulled it up before so you can read it. What is it? It's like challenging the authority of the government. Oh, and it went to a jury. So not even a judge applying the law. This is a jury applying seditious conspiracy. What was the district that they were in? If I'm just going to take a wild guess, they convicted Tarrio and others of obstructing an official proceeding, conspiracy to prevent an office from discharging their duties, obstruction of law enforcement during a civil disorder, and destruction of government property, over $1,000. Jurors found defendant not guilty of seditious conspiracy. One of them got off. He must have had the right thoughts at the right time. The convictions amount to a significant victory for the Justice Department, which has now secured them against top leaders of. By the way, do you know what seditious conspiracy is not? Insurrection. Anyone been charged or convicted with insurrection? Seditious conspiracy, peeps. Because do we have a definition here? Politics was no longer something for the debating floor or the voting booth, prosecutors told them. For them, politics meant actual physical violence, and they liked it, and they were good at it. They were so good at it, they certified the vote 4 hours later. Lawyers for Tarrio, who spent January 6th in a Baltimore hotel room, but who monitored the action from afar, argued he was more a scapegoat for the Justice Department and a far easier target. He wasn't even there. It was Donald Trump's words. It was his motivation. It was his anger that caused what occurred on January 6th in your amazing and beautiful city. Defense attorney Naib Hassan said, they want to use Enrique Tarrio as a scapegoat for Donald Trump. Oh, okay, but let's just go here because we want to see what seditious conspiracy, and I think it's going to be under the United States Code. Let's just go read the charge. Let's go read the law. If 2 or more persons in any state or territory or in any place subject to the jurisdiction of the United States conspire to overthrow, put down, or to destroy by force the government of the United States, or to levy war against them, or to oppose by force the authority thereof. My goodness. To oppose by force the authority of the government. Does that mean resisting arrest? Is resisting arrest seditious conspiracy? Or by force to prevent, hinder, or delay the execution of any law of the United States, or by force seize, take, or possess any property of the United States contrary to the authority thereof, they shall each be fined under this title, or imprisoned to not more than 20 years, or both. Yeah, that's It's clear. You're getting judged by a jury of your peers. Undoubtedly, they understood exactly what this meant in the historical context. When was this? This was enacted in 1948. If they oppose by force the authority of the government, oh, they got their conviction, people. By the way, still no insurrection, still no seditious conspiracy to incite insurrection, and it's just amazing. Enrique Tarrio wasn't even there. That's justice. That's justice if you're a communist. Pasha Moyer, idea reverse day. Start on locals, then to Rumble, and finish Blandy probably out of necessity on YouTube. More watching on Rumble than on YouTube right now. The reason why that order doesn't work is for notification purposes. Also, logistically, I don't even know how I would do that because it's easier to remove something from StreamYard than it is to add it. And just to address what appears to be something of a spammer or someone who's very angry that I can't pull up comments in Rumble. If there's a Rumble rant that I can bring up, which there isn't, so I can't bring it up right now. Rumble does not go through StreamYards in the same way that YouTube does. So while I can bring up comments like this by highlighting them in StreamYard, for the time being, and until they can fix it or organize it, Rumble does not go through StreamYard. So my fix, and it's one that other people have told me to do, is basically I can share the screen and then show the comments as they come up. But the reason why, just so the person who's complaining can understand, I cannot bring up the comments that you see on the side. Oh, it's Jesse Jennings. I can't bring these comments up through YouTube, through StreamYard, because Rumble is not integrated. Whatever it is, the comments, it's not integrated through StreamYard, and it's not an option. So this is the best I can do. There's one right there. Here's a Rumble rant. Thank you, Pasha Moyer, P. Moyer. So it's the best I can do. If it's not good enough for you, too bad. I mean, I guess you're going to have to either find a better solution for me or live with it. Wouldn't be the hardest thing to live with. Cheryl Gage, the drone strike on the Kremlin looked more symbolic than tactical. So whoever did it achieved their goal. We're going to start with that actually right after standard intro. No medical advice, no legal advice, no election fortification advice. Whenever I bring up and whenever someone gives one of these generous super chats or Rumble rants, bear in mind, people, YouTube takes 30% of that. So YouTube took 60 cents of that. What's my problem here? No. It would be $1.50 of that. If you don't like that, you can go on Rumble. Rumble has the equivalent called Rumble Rants. They ordinarily take 20%, but for the rest of 2023, they take 0%. And all of it goes to the creator. 2024, they're going to go back to their standard cut, and hopefully they'll have increased their pool of viewers on Rumble. So the investment pays off in terms of profitability for the platform, because Rumble needs to be profitable in order to be sustainable. The best way to support us, if you so choose, locals, vivabarneslaw.locals.com. You don't have to be a paying supporter to get tons of goodies on locals. We have an above average community there of 109,000 last time I checked. If you choose to support, $7 a month or $70 a year discounted rate, or you can pay more, as some people do, to support what we do so we can continue doing what we do. That's it. Okay, that's the intro. The drone strike, people. It's an amazing thing. So yesterday's biggest news, and it's today's silence, was a drone strike, allegedly. I mean, you never know anything anymore. You see smoke coming from the Kremlin. It could be a barbecue that got out of control in the backyard, and someone says it's a drone strike. I'm being glib. But we literally live in a world now where if something happens, you don't know who did it. There's going to be spin one way or the other. And we live in a world now, especially, where you don't even know if something has actually happened. Back in the day, you used to have your false flags. Now we're living in a world of CGI, AI, some really damn good Photoshop, where you don't even know if things happen. And so the biggest news of the day yesterday was an alleged drone strike at the Kremlin in Russia, a purported assassination attempt on Vladimir Putin. And it was news for, am I going crazy? Or was it news for like 10 minutes and then nobody talked about it? I think it was news for 10 minutes and then nobody talked about it, which is even more suspicious than anything. my initial my initial comment was, where did Ukraine get the drone from? Which is predicated on the idea that it was, in fact, if it wasn't a drone strike, it was, in fact, a strike carried out by Ukraine. It could have been Russia. It could have been another Reichstag fire. It could have been another, the Polish one there, the radio station. What was that one? Chat, what was that one called? That basically started World War II, or the invasion of Poland. The Polish radio station invasion, or the setup where they shot Polish soldiers, dressed them up in German uniforms, pretended that the Poles stormed the radio station. Chat, come on. It's not moving fast enough here on StreamYard. You know what I'm talking about. Hey, whatever, that false flag. So it could be Russia doing it to itself. Some people say if it was Ukraine, well, Russia's air defense forces are really weak to have let them get, that deep into Russia, into the motherland. Others could say, well, some people could say they knew that Putin wasn't going to be there. And so even if they knew that it was coming from Ukraine, and even if they had the capability of stopping it, let them get away with it. All that it's going to do is cause some building damage or take out some nobody, and let them do it so that we can weaponize it. So, like, you can have any range of false. Let me just get my face in there. You can get any. Oh, it's tracking me again. Son of a gun. Oh, sorry. This flipping camera. Pleb, the reporter, said, "Viva, I can help you fix this," in a text to me yesterday, but I've disabled it, and then it just re-enables. You can have any varying degree of false flag conspiracy theory. Either Russia did it to itself, blamed it on the Ukraine. Let's back it up. Either it didn't happen and it's an outright fabrication. It's a fire that they set off themselves, blame it on Ukraine. Either Russia struck itself so they can blame it on Ukraine. Ukraine did it, and now they're blaming it on Russia. Ukraine did it. Russia could have stopped it, but they knew Putin wasn't there, so they let them do it so they could then blame it on them. Or Poland did it. Or China did it. I mean, there's so many ways to go on it. The bottom line is, when the media comes out reflexively right away, says it's a Putin false flag. This is typical Russian propaganda, as Newland would call it. Then I start getting suspicious, and I was just going to look for some info. Just looking. Want to pick the brains of people who are smarter than me. This guy here looks smart. I think he's got a British accent.
Absolutely not. It's typical.
Take it back. I take it back. He doesn't have a British accent. He's not smart at all. Listen to this. I want to hear, what are the pundits saying about the strike? And when the pundits come out and say, it's typical Russia, it's false flag, Russia just blew up the Nord Stream pipeline itself so they could blame it on Russia.
Absolutely not. It's typical Kremlin spinning, creating a false narrative. Look, it's too early to say what exactly happened here, but I tend to lean on the side of analysts who say that this was a Russian generated false flag operation. We don't know exactly why they would do that, but one reason might be is to stoke up Russian public opinion and also lay more fertile ground for more mobilization of Russians.
Do you want to know why? Like, you don't need to be an expert. First of all, that footage actually was. I mean,
we don't know exactly why they would do that, but
do you want to know why you don't need to be an expert to know that this is a dumb, illogical, it's self-propagandist explanation?
One reason might be is to stoke up Russian public opinion and also lay more fertile ground for more mobilization of Russians. But
has Russia been holding back that they would need to generate a false flag to stoke public sentiment for this war? That seems to be perfect confession through projection. That seems to be exactly the concern of the West, in terms of the West no longer propping up this war, supporting Ukraine in a proxy war. That pure confession through projection. It's not like Russia needs any more of a pretext to continue the war that it initiated, and it's not like they're holding back by all accounts. That explanation just makes no sense. And what are they going to do? They're going to fly something over their own, shoot their own building, and then blame it on Ukraine? The only way it could make sense is if they knew Ukraine was coming in with this and let them do it, so they can then say, look what Ukraine is doing. And why does that make more sense? Well, we now know from the leaked Pentagon papers, which everybody is ignoring in interpreting this event, You had Zelensky asking the West for missiles, whatever, that could reach Moscow. I mean, you had this. It's like Victoria Nuland saying that they're going to blow up or they're going to end the Nord Stream pipeline if Russia invades Ukraine. It's like Joe Biden saying, I promise you, we're going to end the Nord Stream pipeline if Russia invades the Ukraine. How are you going to do that, Mr. President? It's in Germany. I promise you, we'll make it happen. And then it happens. Russia did it. You have Zelensky in the leaked Pentagon papers now saying, hey, give me some stuff that's capable of striking Moscow because I want to strike Moscow. And yesterday, something strikes Moscow, Russia. It was Russia doing it to themselves. So there's not much more insight to offer to that. There's not much more news. I'm trying to scour the internet, but the more silence there is on this, the more suspicious I get, and the more I just think this is obviously, it seems obvious what it is. Yeah, it's almost as ridiculous as, like Russia striking Polish soldiers and then Zelensky begging the world to jump into World War III. But oops, did I do that? It's my first day. Oh, no, it wasn't Operation Himmler, the Polish false flag. My goodness, hold on a second. Let me just get that. It wasn't. It was Polish radio station World War II false flag. The Gleiwitz. It was the Gleiwitz incident. Yeah, it's not Operation. I mean, I guess it was inspired, but it was the Gleiwitz. Gleiwitz. Let me just read what it says real quick. The Gleiwitz incident was a false flag attack on the radio station center Gleiwitz in Gleiwitz, then Germany and now Gliwice, Poland, staged by Nazi Germany on the night of August 31st, 1939. Gleiwitz. I won't remember it, but I won't forget it. So that's what's in Russia. Do we do one more on YouTube before we go? One more story on YouTube before we go over to Rumble? Yeah, let's do just one. Let's just do one quick one. You all know that Aaron Rupar is in the Urban Dictionary and not for the best of reasons. Oh, let's just go ahead and look at this. By the way, I said that I would never watch Fox News again, except to make fun of them. I didn't really want to watch Fox News. This is just because Aaron Rupar comes up on my feed because I interact with him on Twitter, so they continue to, promote him, recommend him to me, present him to me, so I have to respond to his crap. Journalist, stop it. Journalists sign up for my newsletter. No, thank you. Public power, whatever that is. Okay, Aaron Rupar. Let's just read the description. Bear in mind how few people actually click through the video to watch it. This one, in all of its 39 seconds, how short the attention span of the average person is, myself included. Most people will not go watch the video. They'll see, hey, Aaron, look at that. He's coming through my thing there. Oh, what's he say? Josh Hawley admits he's seen no evidence of Biden malfeasance, but he wants Democrats to prove Biden is innocent nonetheless. That's crazy. Now I'm just going to go on and find something else to get enraged about. First of all, is that Josh Hawley? I don't even care if it is. Josh Hawley admits he has seen no evidence of Biden malfeasance, but wants Democrats to prove Biden innocence nonetheless. Oh, that's a very bold statement. I doubt that's what this video is going to show, because Rupar is going to pull a Rupar right now. And for those of you who don't know what that is, go to the Urban Dictionary. But let's just see what Josh Hawley said. Says I've seen no evidence, and he's got to go prove his innocence. That sounds like something Nancy Pelosi would say.
Senator, who do we think the other country is? We knew the Chinese connection and all that, but this is something new. Do you have any information on that?
I do not. I don't have any information on what the whistleblowers has alleged in terms of the specific substantive allegations.
I have no information in terms of these specific substantive allegations. That's a qualified statement. He might be hiding the fact that he has zero information, or he might have broad brushstroke 30,000-foot overview information, but not specific allegations. But that's a little different than what Aaron Rupar, who's pulling a Rupar, just said. But it goes on.
Other than that, there is documentation that the FBI has. And I just say again to those Democrats out there screaming about how Joe Biden is innocent. Joe Biden hasn't done anything. Well, fine. Then show us what you know. Show us what the evidence is and the allegations. Don't be afraid of what the facts are.
And by the way, I don't like the philosophy, prove your innocence. It's unconstitutional. It's contrary to the fundamental rules of justice. It's also not what Josh Hawley said right here. He didn't say go to court and prove your innocence. He said show us the documentation, because it's not exactly like they've been forthcoming with the alleged improprieties. But what did Hawley say? I don't have any specifics on the allegations, but the FBI has information, and the Democrats should flip over their whole cards. But yeah, no, Rupar comes in and says he admits he's seen no evidence, but Democrats have to prove that Biden is innocent nonetheless. We have enough superficial evidence, or at least cursory evidence, to presume, not even to presume, but to appreciate 10% for the big guy. Biden, what's his name? Hunter's business dealings that Joe Biden now seems to be well aware of. There's enough. There's enough. And I wanted to get the. Does everyone remember? Does everyone remember Nancy Pelosi prove innocence? That's not how you spell it, but let's just Nancy Pelosi. Let's just, speaking of what Aaron Rupar is wrongly alleging, Hawley just said. Let's just go refresh our memories about Nancy Pelosi, member of Congress. She's there to uphold the Constitution of America, and this is what her Constitution says. They should call it the Constitution. The grand jury has acted upon the facts and the law. No one is above the law, and everyone has the right to a trial to prove innocence. I'm sorry, are you an overt fascist communist? I mean, what are you, Nancy? You have the right to a trial to prove innocence. Oh my good God. But no good, Aaron Rupar. Accuse your adversary of doing what you are doing so as to create confusion. Oh, okay. Let's bring in the link to the Rumbles one more time, and we're going to go over there now, people. What do we have left on Rumble? So we're going to talk about the Neely the New York City subway incident, and then some Canadian stuff, because now that crack, cocaine, methamphetamines, small amounts possession has been decriminalized, there's some jackanini in Vancouver who wants to open up a mobile drug selling center. And there was a picture circulating on the interwebs, which I said, this looks like it might be fake. And it's not fake. And there's a lot to it. And then there's some other stuff we're going to get to. What was I going to say? So here it is. Boom shakalaka, link to Rumble. Mark in Vermont says, Vive, we've been lied to by the powers that be about everything. About pretty much everything. So much so, like Owen Benjamin has been popping up on my feed these days, and not for interaction reasons. I don't actually interact with him, but he's been popping up on my feed, and like he explains it. He explains how some people get so disillusioned. They get so mind fucked, I mean, for lack of a better word, by the powers that be, that they would then go and feel compelled to challenge the most basic premises of orthodoxy, the orthodoxy of information. That being the moon landing, I can still understand people thinking it was staged. The flat earth, I mean, you get people who so distrust everything they have been told that they have to go and, in their own minds, doubt, contradict, and then seek evidence, which they can never provide for themselves, as to the roundness of the earth. I don't know why a kid just came in here and gave me $5, but I'll take it. And so Owen Benjamin, he's been explaining it. It makes sense. People are just so bloody disillusioned by how much they've been lied to on the most basic facts, historical facts, premises of life, premises of the pillars of knowledge, that they have to question, even the ones that, at least some of them, that I think are unquestionable. All right, let's go on over to Rumble right now, as in 3, 2, 1, ending on YouTube, over to Rumble, then over to Locals, vivabarneslaw.locals.com. The kids are bothering me. Ending on YouTube,